You can raise it.
A little tall. Okay. LuAnn Causey Smart Pierce. I know most of you have been thinking that is a lot of names. Nanny, as most of us grandchildren, our friends would call her, would love to say, I have lots of names. Some of her names included Sister, Aunt Sissy, Lou, Lulie, and Mother. And best of all, the Energizer Bunny. She was always called the Energizer Bunny because she kept going and going and going. Lula was born in Miami, Florida, to Captain Jasper and Daisy Causey on October 2nd, 1918. She was the third of 7 children in her family. Some of the things that happened in 1918, the year she was born: World War I ended, the fortune cookie was created, the U.S. Congress established time zones, U.S. air mail service began, a gallon of milk only cost 20 cents, a gallon of gas cost 23 cents, and believe it or not, a new home cost $2,200. And Woodrow Wilson was the president. So Lula attended Miami High School, where she was a cheerleader. At the age of 18, she married James M. Smart in Hialeah, Florida. They had one daughter, Edith. Lula was president of Edith's school PTA at Buena Vista Elementary. She was married to James for 17 years. Lula worked for Sears Roebuck and Company, starting in Miami on the sales floor. She became the #1 sales representative and liked to talk about the time she sold the Duke of Windsor an umbrella. She also told stories of how she spoke Spanish to all of her favorite Cuban customers, and they would look to her for help with their purchases. Lula was married her second husband, Maynard Pierce, in 1963. They moved to Colorado and started a life in Northglenn. Lula continued working at Sears in the Cherry Creek and Northglenn Mall, finishing her 30-year career in 1980s as the head bookkeeper in the credit department. Nanny would always take us out to eat and to the movies and say, I had to work a whole week to take you out, which to my reply was, you don't make very much. Truth be told, I thought she was a bigwig when I would go in her store, and after all, she had to add up all those purchases with a calculator, no computers back then to help. Maynard and Luke decided to move to Arvada, where they ran the National Self-Storage. She always made sure we got lots of Archway cookies from the drivers, as they had their storage units there. I also learned how to drive there because she would let us use the company's golf cart. She was a member at Crossroads Baptist Church in Northglenn, where she was a deaconess and helped start the first clothes closet. Lula was also a member of the Northglenn Elks Ladies Auxiliary, serving on many committees and participated with the Elks Bowling League. Her most memorable moments was when she was a model for the fashion show, many of you were here for that, and for her 100th birthday party. She was the oldest living Elks lady of Northglenn Lodge. Her husband Maynard was a charter member. Lula moved back to Arcadia, Florida with her husband Maynard in the early 80s to help care for her mother. Nanny was always taking care of the elderly, the lonely, her family, and friends. She always would show up to holidays with guests of hers. She celebrated any time she could and threw some of the best parties till this day. Lula was active in her church in Arcadia at the Calvary Baptist. She once was a chaperone to the teenage girls, taking them to camp and driving them around, to which was some question if she could still drive at her age. She also belonged to the Women's Club, the Garden Club, and the Red Hat Society. And her husband Maynard passed away in 2006 after 42 years of marriage. Until the age of 97, she stayed busy every day of the week. This is why we called her the Energizer Bunny. Lula moved back to Colorado 4 years ago after she broke her hip so that her daughter and granddaughters could take care of her. She was the life of the party and lived life to the fullest. Nanny was the matriarch of the family in the end, outliving all of her brothers and sisters and some nieces and nephews. Her comedic answers and contributions will forever be missed, and as on all her crazy videos she made with my sister on Facebook, she would say to all of you, toodly oodly.